all these things we are tied to this singular activity.
All right. So thank you so much. So
and which means as this
now that we're live on YouTube, I'm just going to in a few minutes try to show you what we. Okay, one moment. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen briefly. I'm not going to do any coding today. Let me even see if we're going to do any coding at all. Just a moment. Okay, no, this month we're not going to write any code again. We will talk about API data structure, and then we'll move on to API integration planning. We've already had a number of sessions, and the reason we didn't start to talk about API data structure is because we really don't need so many sessions to talk about it. So for API authentication and connection, we have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions. So we've taken, so I think we have 5 sessions now, starting today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the calendar. And then we have 3 sessions at the end of this month, which is 1, 2, 3. Well, am I wrong? Let me see. August. August started from.
Okay, 22nd.
So there's 13 weeks. 13 sessions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sessions in August. So we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 13. So if we've done 5, we're still going to, we repeated the session on Wednesday. Let's just try to calculate this so we can agree on something. We repeated the session on Wednesday, making it twice. So what it means is we are 1 step behind in days. So what we are supposed to do on, what we were supposed to do on Monday, we did it on Wednesday. So I think it is balanced. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have had 4 sessions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So today is the 5th one. So we have 6 plus 3 sessions. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And 6 plus 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about API data structure for Zoho products from today till 22nd. And then from 25th to 29th, we will talk about API integration planning for scale. So let me try to share my screen while I take you to the API area of the developer area. Okay. So one moment. Okay. So let me just share my screen here. So just to confirm that you can see my screen, I'm going to show the preview, yes. So from a Google search, we can always go to the Zoho API page. So we have zoho.com/developer/REST-API. So for this, we're going to go to some of the products just to show you the different variations of API feedback, data structure in APIs. Okay. Then when we explore this week, when we explore data structure in some of the apps, we will then explore how we can create our own data structure for our functions to work with those apps. You've already seen us do something like that, but I want to show you by principle. So if we go to, let's go to Zoho Finance apps. So if you go to Zoho Books, for instance, this Zoho Books API, you find that with Zoho Books, all the API calls are giving you three of inputs. You have the code, you have the message, and you have the object. Now, for fetching organizations, the way Zoho Books works is when you fetch any record, whether it's organization, contacts, invoices, or anything, you have like code, message, and the object, invoices, organizations, subscriptions, if it's Zoho billing, any Zoho Finance product, this is the structure that they follow. Of course, if it's not successful, then it's going to show you a different message here, maybe an excuse, the reason why it's not successful, a different code. But the success code is 0. Now, when organizations is a list, it means that it's going to be an array. So when you're working with it, you have to make sure that you connect first to a map, which you can see here, and then you have to identify each variable in the map for which organizations is an array. Okay, so let's take a look at another object here. We look at contacts. So if you are listing contacts, you have the same situation. You have code, message, and contacts. So this is the structure for listing in Zoho Books, and precisely from my experience in every Zoho Finance product. But when you want to create, it's totally different. In creating, you need to pass the values in different ways. So the data structure here is such that everything here is going to be in a map. As you can see, these are maps. You have field 1 equals value 1, field 2 equals value 2. Okay, so this gives you a map for you to make your submissions. Now, when you are submitting data through Zoho's APIs, if you are doing it with Zoho Books or Zoho Finance products, you need to put the map directly. The value of the map fields have to be direct. One other thing you need to know too is for some particular issues, you may not see documentation that describes it. I'll give you an example of something you won't see documentation for. If you go to Zoho Billing, for instance, no pun intended, but you go to Zoho Billing, you find out that you cannot see the precise instructions you must give to cancel a subscription. So if you choose cancel a subscription now, you see that the variable here is cancel at end. But if you specify cancel at end, you will get an error saying, please specify valid reason. So you have to specify reason in a variable for cancellation. Now, this can be tricky because it's going to make you begin to try to pass things through without even knowing what variable to use, like cancel reason or whatever. That's not written here. So sometimes the documentation is incomplete, unfortunately. So it's important for you to note that when you get errors, you will need to either pass as query parameters or pass it through the post. Now, this is specified as query parameter because this is a post. So what it means is that you need to make sure that you specify this inside your data query. Because this is a post, you really cannot put question mark and put the values here. You have to specify it in a map submitted to this to this point. So you need to be able to have it submitted to this endpoint. Finally, you need to also note that when you are dealing with a particular item, not just in a Zoho Finance product like Zoho Billing and Zoho Books, but even in other Zoho apps, you need to have the ID of the item in the URL. We had a challenge with something like this in Zoho Books, and we had to search using email. Fortunately, it worked. But if it's not in the documentation, it may not work. So the second thing you will see in the documentation is how to fetch contacts via email. So if we come to get a contact now, you find out that to get the details of a contact here, you don't see anywhere that you can specify email. You just see the organization ID and you see the contact ID here. Now this can be confusing for somebody who is just learning how to use the APIs because you will not see where to specify email. It's not in the instructions. But one of the things you can do is to check the field values and the field names. So if you come here, for instance, we're looking for a constraint, you will then come and check for email. So let me check for email here. So you see that email is just email field. So I can use this as what I can use for searching. Interestingly, it is email that works here, not everything. So it's important for you to test which of these fields will work for you at every point in time. Now, today we are going to look at a second kind of Zoho app, which is so this is the Zoho Books, for instance. Now, let's just go here. So this is what I meant by searching for email. So email is under contact persons. Again, it becomes difficult to envisage because it's under here. So if you search for email, you are doing a wild goose chase. But fortunately with Zoho Books, it works. So if you are not experienced with these APIs, you may not be able to search for things. But you have to get some tips and bits from what I'm telling you between now and the end of this week so that you can gain value from these API platforms. Finally, with the Zoho Finance products, you will not be able to search using custom fields. You can update values using custom fields, but you cannot search using custom fields. You know, sometimes when we do this webinar, I feel that we're giving too much information because we suffered before we knew what we're telling you. So since you cannot get information from custom fields, there is a way around it. And what we've done is that we have made a provision for how you can create your own database of the data in the Zoho Finance app that you're dealing with. Put the value of the custom fields in your own data, search using your data, and then return the ID that you are searching for and shortlist. You can shortlist using just a list of IDs. You can shortlist using a single ID. For us, we built a batching system for us to interact with our customers. So everything we do with our customers is in batches of 100 transactions per batch. And it's fully automated. You know, so we did that of our own engineering capability, but we will tell you for free, we did it because of custom fields. So put your custom fields inside your own database, search your database, and return the value of the record that you're looking for. So now let's go to Zoho Creator. Maybe a more technical solution. And we will end with Zoho Creator for today. So with Zoho Creator, we have the OpenAI specifications, Open API specifications, OAuth authentication, all of that you need. But let's go straight down to business. So with Zoho Creator, there's what you need to know importantly. When you're adding records to Zoho Creator, you're going to have to put the values inside a variable called data. That's why you have this D here. So if we come to setting field values now, you see that you need to, let me see if I can see it here. Yes. So you see that it has to be under data. Okay. Now this is when you're adding one record. Okay. When you're adding multiple records, you have to put an array, but still data. Okay. So in this array, you have different key value pairs that you can use to enter data. And the result comes with all the fields updated in the key value pair. There are other instructions here, but again, in this place with Zoho Creator, there's something interesting that you will need to know. When you are updating records to Zoho Creator or even creating records, Zoho Creator has the option for you to choose whether you want tasks to be processed and you want okay, let me just go straight down to it. Okay, so now tasks include the things that are configured to happen after the form is submitted. But this part does not include workflows. It just includes things like URL, form redirects, and what have you. Another thing that is included inside here, which would interest you, is your ability to determine whether the workflows inside Zoho Creator would execute. So let me try to okay. Okay, let me check updates. Okay. All right. So updates, I think that's where this thing is. So when you try to update a record in Zoho Creator, there are workflows that execute when you update, even when you add records. Now, by virtue of adding values, you will be allowed to specify whether you want the workflows to be executed. I'm looking for, I think it's in, one second. Aha. So there's criteria. Okay. Let me check something. I think this is in. I'm looking for something seriously. I think this is in. You can put your validations, but I'm trying to. Let's see. I think it's in the search. Get records. Let me see. Or is it that time? Oh, my mistake. So version 2.1 has a different reality. So we have been looking at version 2 ever since. So version 2.1 allows you to, when you're adding, updating a record or otherwise, you have this parameter called skip_workflow. This allows you to not trigger the workflows inside the operator. Before, this option was not there. So the provision to skip was not there, but now you can skip. In case you just want to update data and you don't want the workflows to limit you, you can skip the workflows. But if you want to follow the workflow rules, please and please execute actions accordingly. So this is about it for today. The sessions this week and next are going to be brief like this because there's really nothing much to detail in this. This is just to help your practice and make you spend a shorter amount of time to market. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask within the community platform. But in the meantime, I wish you have a